The Mabinogi is the traditional mythology of Wales and is extremely important for Welsh culture. Within that mythology, there's a great goddess, and her name is Modron. She had a son, and his name is Mabon. The pagan festival, Mabon, takes its name from that god, Mabon, from Welsh mythology. I didn't know this until recently. Maybe 2 years ago was the first time that I found out. I found out from this book on Welsh witchcraft. For decades I didn't know that fact. But it made me think. I wanted to know why it was being used, because there doesn't seem to be any connection between that god and the autumn equinox. So I decided to dive into it a little bit and find out. The word Mabon started to be used in some Wicca circles and in some forms of Druidry from around the 1970s. I'm not sure exactly when. I couldn't find out exactly when. But it comes from the 1970s. But I became interested in Wicca in the 1980s. So I looked at my original sources for Wicca to find out what they said about Mabon. So I looked at the Vivian Crowley book on Wicca. She doesn't mention the name at all in the book. And in my books by Janet and Stuart Farrer, again, the name is not used. So, in many Wiccan circles in Britain, that word wasn't being used in the 1980s. So where did I find that word and why did I start using it? So I dived a little bit deeper into my books. And I found this one, a very old one by Scott Cunningham, Wicca for the Solitary Practitioner. This is a very important book for me when I read it because it started me on my own path. And I started to be truly Wiccan from reading this book. Not just studying it, now I was doing it. And this is the first book where I found the word Mabon. But nowhere in this book does it describe where that word came from. It doesn't say it's a Welsh word. It doesn't say why it's within Wicca. But I started using it. As recently as yesterday, I used the word Mabon. I used it in a video that I made about the autumn equinox. I didn't say the word in the video. I only said autumn equinox in the video. But in the title and the thumbnail, I used the word Mabon. But since then, I've changed the title and I've changed the thumbnail to use autumn equinox because I think it's truer. Because the god Mabon doesn't have anything to do with the autumn equinox. He's a very important god and well worth studying. But there's no connection to the autumn equinox. So for me, it seems a little strange to use it. And it's become a little bit controversial recently on the internet to use it. So I've decided to stop using it. And for another reason as well, because next month I plan to start studying seriously the Mabinogi, the Welsh mythology. So to show respect to that mythology and show respect to the Welsh people, for me it seems better not to say Mabon for the autumn equinox. I'm not saying you should stop using it. If you want to use it, please use it. But don't be like me. Don't spend decades using it and not knowing its meaning. Know that it has a Welsh connection. It's the name of a Welsh god. Be aware of where it comes from. and decide if it's a good and fitting word for you. If it is, great, use it. If it isn't, don't. For me, I won't be using it anymore. If you've enjoyed this video, please do all of the YouTubey kind of things. Merry meet, merry part, merry meet again.